but make sure to comment down.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more!
I feel like nowadays when people think of YouTube Kids content, it's like a Russian sleeper agent hearing their activation code and they immediately get triggered. Some people might think of Cocomelon, others Blippi, others that weird Spider-Man and Elsa phase that YouTube went through. But what comes to my mind when I think of kids content on YouTube is consumerism. I wanted to talk about this aspect of consumerism and capitalism that's promoted in YouTube channels, particularly targeted towards kids, because I feel like it's not talked about that much. With good reason, usually channels focus on the exploitation of minors.
Every family vlog channel on YouTube I think is weird. I genuinely can't wrap my head around growing up with a camera in my face every single day throughout my entire developing years.
I don't want to take away from that point because minors do get exploited a lot in these kids' YouTube channels. I just wanted to talk about the consumerism aspect because I feel like it's not really being talked about. Obviously this is a small channel, so subscribing would really help. I'm trying to hit 50 subs by the end of the month, so just you subscribing could prove that maybe I should start doing more long form videos because I've been doing mostly YouTube shorts. And who knows, maybe one day this channel will blow up and this will be my long-term job. But I think 50 subs would just be a good goal. Also, I want to make the disclaimer because people on the internet tend to be freaks. Not that I feel like anyone here is going to be harassing anyone, but please don't reach out to the channels and harass them. I don't want to promote hating on these channels. In fact, I would go as far as to say that I don't really necessarily feel like it's the fault of these individual channels. I think it's more of the whole system of YouTube. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. I feel like as soon as babies shoot out of their mother's womb, they're basically handed an iPad. And listen, I'm not one to critique any parents because I don't have any kids, but I'm just saying that kids from a young age are exposed to what we like to call brain rot. And I feel like one of the biggest forms of brain rot is these toy unboxing channels. I know I've been hedging this video a lot, and listen, that's because I'm not that confrontational. But also, I think it's because if hypothetically in this perfect world, toy hauls were made in such a way that only one person was doing it, it wouldn't be that bad. But the problem is when there's this ecosystem of YouTubers that are constantly doing these hauls, that are constantly showing off these toys, it's like everyone is doing it. And I feel like this has a bit of a psychological impact. Nowadays, we like to make fun of 10-year-old girls for going to Sephora. I feel like making fun of this 10-year-old girls for doing Sephora hauls is a little hypocritical because we're already molding their brains to want these huge, vast amount of things. And I feel like that's where the big problem lies. We're basically preparing these kids to live in a society where they need abundance. They need more stuff. Whether you want to admit it or not, most stuff that we have is going to decompose slowly over thousands of years. And that's just kind of a reality of living here. I feel like the dangerous message that's being sent by all these toy channels and by all these kids' YouTube content channels is that things are easily replaced, that things are just trash waiting to happen. And I feel like it's really dangerous because kids don't learn the value of holding on to an object. Kids don't learn the value of maintaining anything. It was actually shocking to go through all these kids' YouTube content channels because I knew going into it that they would have a lot of waste, but I didn't expect them to be straight up destroying things for content and that being their main form of content. At the end of the day, it's the parents' responsibility to instill these important values of maintaining things for kids, of not needing abundance to their children. But I feel like it's very dangerous when these YouTubers that these kids trust and have parasocial relationships with are sending these messages. The ironic and kind of sad part of this is I don't think that these YouTubers are doing this on purpose. I think that when they were kids, they were fed all these dangerous message and that they're kind of repeating the cycle. I feel like when you're a kids content YouTuber and you know that these kids are gonna try to develop this parasocial relationship with you, you do have more responsibility than YouTubers that create content for adults. Kids don't understand that YouTube isn't real life, that social media isn't real life. With some degree, they understand that when they see commercials on the TV, that's not real life. But when they're seeing all the shit on YouTube that's being promoted, they think that it's real and they think that they should have the same things. And this can have some impacts on the environment. I really don't want to be ignorant and think that everyone had the same upbringing as me, but I really feel like I don't understand how these YouTube channels can just go through life making this content and not realize that it's really not good for the environment to be doing what they're doing. So, if we're to point the finger and blame someone, who would we blame? Well, this is where things get a little bit nuanced. I feel like YouTubers do have some responsibility for promoting this kind of content and for promoting this kind of consumption. But on the other hand, their environmental impact is not nearly as big as the environmental impact that these companies have. Still, I feel like it's very valid to be upset at how these YouTubers treat objects like they're worth nothing. The toy industry is the most plastic intensive industry in the world. And that's not even going into the fact that the chemicals that are required to make these toys are absolutely terrible for the environment. And these are being mass produced. I feel like it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I think we can acknowledge both are bad. One is just having way more of an impact. As always, corporations are going to put their bottom line before the humanity of others. And the really sad environmental impact is that in Africa, in South Asia, there are just mountains of clothes, there's just plastic trash, because corporations treat third world countries like they're trash cans. And even though this corporate takeover is very disheartening, especially as a young person, I still have hope. People started letter writing campaigns online to talk to local leaders and senators and politicians to stop the environmental impact that broader policies are having on us. And if you happen to be a kids content creator watching this, I'm sorry I had to go so in on you, but I think it's important to note that you can still do toy hauls and things like that, but have a smaller impact by going thrift shopping. I show a lot of videos on my channel of this. Another way you can reduce your environmental impact is literally just being more mindful, and instead of shopping, doing some arts and crafts, going for a walk, going for a jog, doing some deep breathing exercises, anything to stop consumerism, anything to break the habit of being an overspender and a shopping addict. We live in a world where consumerism is the norm, and I don't think it has to be that way. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe. Like I said, I'm trying to hit 50 subscribers by the end of the month. And until next time, I'm Sustainable with Sunshine, and thank you for watching.